Hello again, Internet. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of Nuevo Mexico. Got another new property, this one down south in Luna County. This one, however, is not in our typical subdivision that we normally buy in down there. It is not in Deming Ranchettes. This one is in a different sub. It's one we have not purchased in before, but it's one that I like for one big reason, which is that you're going to get a lot more land for your land buying dollar in this subdivision. As I think you guys know from countless videos that I've done in the past, Deming Ranchettes, pretty much 90% of Luna County. It's a total of a bunch of half-acre lots that were sold two at a time. Most owners out there have no more than 1 acre of land. This subdivision, however, all the properties in it, all the parcels of land are 5-acre lots. So you're going to have a lot more land than all your neighbors out there, and it's going to give you a lot of advantages. So let's get into talking about it. This is reference number LNM-1510, located as noted in Luna County in the southern portion of the state. This is in the Scenic Mountain Ranches subdivision, and this particular property is 5 acres. I will just have you guys know this is one whole 5-acre lot. This is not a combination of a bunch of smaller adjacent lots that total 5 acres. So the possibility for reselling portions of this lot or subdividing this lot will not exist. So if you're an investor who's looking to do something like that, maybe this will not be the property for you. Whatever the case, these 5 acres are priced affordably at $6,000. Now, for those of you who are watching this saying, hey, Hemingway, you've got 5-acre lots in Deming Ranchettes priced at $4,500. What's the difference? Well, the county valuation of the land in this subdivision is a scooch higher, number one. Number two, because of that, the taxes are a scooch higher. And number three, because of that, when people sell you the land out there, they argue, my property's worth a lot more than Deming Ranchettes properties, which means we have to pay a scooch more. That being said, down here, one of the last notes that we make here is that the Luna County assessor places the market value of these 5 acres at $7,800. So at $6,000, we are well below that. But if you're looking for cheaper 5-acre land in Luna County, we've got it at $4,500 in Deming Ranchettes. Go to one of those listing pages, watch one of those videos. For those of you sticking with me, however, let's bring this one up on a map. As with all of our properties, come down here, click the GPS coordinates, any one of them, and voila, on Google Maps, it shall appear. So let's zoom back first, talk about where this is on planet Earth, and then we'll get into specifics. All right, so down here in the southern portion of the state, you got Luna County. Luna County runs, these are basically the boundaries of Luna County. It's a small box-like county that runs western borders about here, southern borders along Mexico, eastern boundaries right about here. And the northern boundary is just just north of the I-10. Occupying about 90% of the land in Luna County is a subdivision called Deming Ranchettes. It runs pretty much all of this area right here, everything up here, and then about halfway down what I call the goose egg over here, halfway down here. Now, strangely enough, within Deming Ranchettes, within all of that area that I just showed you, there are smaller subdivisions that I don't know exactly how this happened. I would love to know the history of this, but apparently other developers either came in, were either there beforehand or managed to somehow squirrel away some land and break it up into different sized parcels that were not part of Deming Ranchettes. So the Scenic Mountain Ranches right here is one of those. Now, I believe it's about a total of 25-acre properties. That's what I think it is from my research. Either way, it's not much more than 100 acres or say 200 acres maybe. Anyway, with all that said, let me just talk a little bit about Deming Ranchettes because ultimately the subdivision affects so much of this property. One of the things that I like about this portion of the world here in New Mexico is that the developer who came in and really built up most of this land, subdivided everything, chopped it up, resold it. This developer sort of anticipated some problems that other developers in the state of New Mexico did not. So when they chopped up all the land, everything out here are half-acre lots, but they sold them 2 at a time. Now, what happened years later after they started selling off this land is that New Mexico came up with the sort of uniform zoning law that had more to do with environmental rules than anything else. But all the counties adopted it, and essentially it makes it harder to build on a property that's under 3/4 of an acre. You're going to want something that's more than 3/4 of an acre if you're installing a conventional septic, a conventional well, so on and so forth. Now, to be clear, you can build on smaller properties, but for a lot of people it's prohibitively expensive. It's made more difficult. Point being, when you come into a subdivision like this and you see that there's a dense concentration of population up here, but there's also people living down here all around. If you zoom in on this map, you're going to find homes and trailers out here. If you zoom in here, you're going to see here's some people living out here, blah, blah, blah. And the reason they're able to do that is because the developer was smart enough to make this whole area basically 1 acre lots. So point is, everybody can build out here. Nobody has the kind of problems that you'll find in other subdivisions throughout New Mexico where developers got greedy and chopped everything up into 1/4 acre lots and 1/2 acre lots and so on and so forth. So this impacts this subdivision down here because what it means is that not only do you have people living out here, the advantage is not that people are living out here, but people living out here tells you a couple things. Number one is that you have power not just in this region, in the city, but you have power really all throughout the subdivision. One of the nice things about this entire area, no matter which subdivision you're in, is that you have power, if not on every road, then every other road. So it's not as difficult or as expensive to get hooked up to the grid, number one. Number two, the roads are all very well maintained out here. It's a fairly arid climate, so there's not much that's going to grow on those roads to begin with. But point being that very easy to get around no matter what vehicle type you have. The third thing, and this is why I'm zooming in, that you'll see here, you've got some green out here. Okay, you have people living out here, and you've got green. So what this tells me is that the water table in this region is accessible. You've got a lot of people out here who are not hooked up to city water. They're using wells. And to have this many people living in this region using wells tells me that the water table is accessible and essentially affordable to access as well. Because I believe well drilling is usually charged on a price per foot as far as down as you're drilling and so on and so forth. So point being, you don't have to drill too far to hit the water table. And as noted, family farms all around this property as well as some nice residences. All right, blah, blah, blah. With all that said, let's talk about this specific property. So, if we go to map view, we can typically see the Google Earth, the Google Maps plat overlay. It does not exist here. That being said, this is a square-shaped lot that sits right here off of County Road C094. Now, if you don't believe me, come down here and take a look at our Google Earth overlay of the property. You can see the exact size, shape, location of the thing. Not sure that this would prove it to you if my previous words did not. So, I'm going to bring this up in our software that we have. That tells us what we need to know about properties. It tells us a lot of information about properties. So this is the subject property right here. Now apparently County Road C094 or whatever it's called also has another name, which is Algodon Road Southwest. So if you're going out to scout the property, it's either County Road C094 or Algodon. I don't know. Whatever the case, this is the subject property right here. And as I was pointing out earlier, all the lots that you see around it are all 5 acre lots. You zoom in pretty much anywhere else on this map, all you're going to see are 1/2 acre lots, 1/2 acre lots, 1/2 acre lots. But up here in the Scenic Mountain Ranch subdivision, which basically runs from that road down there all the way up through here, you've got about, I was able to count about 20, 25 5 acre properties. So it's a small little subdivision where you're going to have a lot more land. Why is this not working? Where you're going to have a lot more land than most all the neighbors out here, because everybody else is working with, little 1/2 acre lots and 1 acre lots, etc. So a lot more space to build on, so on and so forth. I'm going to come back down to the photo gallery, and I'm going to show you guys some of what this property looks like. As with all of our properties, these photos are taken from the land itself. So this is an example of the road that I was talking about earlier, just accessible, any vehicle type. And additionally, you've got some nice flat land out here. So easy to build on is the point whenever I say nice flat land. Not too rocky, not too hilly, not too slopey, so on and so forth. Slopey's not a word, I know, but nonetheless, you want to come out here, plant some kind of, just a trailer, something like that with a cement foundation. Or if you want to start building a single-family residence, something really nice to live in, it's going to be a lot easier to do, a lot less excavation, a lot less landscaping, etc. I'm pausing on this photo because of this thing right here. So my photographer, who's apparently a cactus expert, said that this is a cholla cactus, which he has never seen in this part of New Mexico. There you go, guys. That's all I know about that. But anyway, I thought that was notable. So more pictures of the property, and of course, like with all these properties out here in this region, in Deming Ranchettes or in Scenic Mountain, you've got power very close by, and of course, you've got these gorgeous views of the nearby mountains. There we go. There's some mountains with clouds. Blah, blah, blah. So these are the Florida mountains off in the distance, and like pretty much all of Luna County, you're going to have beautiful views of these. Wake up to them every day, so on and so forth. Now, quick thing. Let's talk about power for a second. So one of the, as I was talking about earlier, there's power pretty much all throughout the subdivision, if not on every road, every other road. When you zoom in here, what you're going to see is this is one of these rare properties where there is not power directly at the property lot line. There's no power running right here. That being said, if we zoom in just a little bit here on the road, you're going to see there's power right here in this region, and I believe that's the last one. So I figured it to be about 500 feet from the property boundary. This is the center point of the property. Property begins about here. So roughly, let's say measure distance, right click and measure distance. Roughly about, what is that? All right, 750, say 750 feet to the property. Point being, not too far. Additionally, you've got homes out here. You've got people living out here who have power hooked up to their homes. So likely not difficult to get power extended just that little bit of a way down to the subject property should you start to build on it, so on and so forth. By the way, you can see, let me zoom in, you can see power running all along this road right here and obviously servicing the nearby houses in the area. So it's one of these where the power is not exactly on the property, but it's pretty damn close. All right. With all that said, a couple things I just want to bring up about this. So normally what I'd then like to do is talk about the zoning. This is zoned rural residential. It's a very generic designation that they have out there in most parts of New Mexico. Typically, we include covenants and restrictions with these properties to give you a sense of what can and cannot be done on the land. That being said, covenants and restrictions do not exist for this subdivision in Luna County. Now, if you'd like to try and check me on this one, if you come to the Luna County Clerk's office, this is typically how we do this, or it's one of the ways. Down here they have a thing called subdivision covenants. And if you click on this, you type document search for Scenic Mountain Ranches, you're not going to get anything. But if you just click on subdivisions itself, you'll see every subdivision that exists in Luna County. And if you scroll down to the S's, you will notice they have no Scenic Mountain Ranches. My conversation with the county, basically what we learned is whatever you can anticipate the zoning to be in Deming Ranchettes, it's going to be very similar in Scenic Mountain. So it's not like you can come out here and do something, wholly crazy, and your neighbors, a mile away can't. So if you have specific questions about zoning, I would recommend that you reach out to county planning and zoning and just ask them, say, what do you know about Scenic Mountain Ranches? Can I do this? Can I do that? If you're looking to build a single-family residence in any part of, America, you're going to have no problems, really. If you're looking to do something a little unconventional, tiny home, shipping container home, things like that, live out of a yurt, something like that, they will likely frown upon that. They have rules throughout all of Luna County about RV living, and I believe it's something like, we have it written up top, where you can live about 30 days out of an RV. I don't know what happens on day 31, if anybody's aware, if anybody's paying attention. But point being, 30 days in an RV is the official thing. And of course, if you have a building permit, you can stay on the land a lot longer in the RV because they expect you need some sort of temporary living quarters while you're building the permanent one. Whatever the case, if you have questions about the zoning, this is Luna County's Planning and Zoning website. This is their phone number. Give them a call. They're going to be a lot more informed about this, a greater authority on this than I could be if you call our offices. That's number one. Number two, some other links we want to make you aware of down here. We also have PNM. It's a local power company. So if you want to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm buying some land in, just south of Deming, what do I need to know about getting hooked up to the grid? What's that going to cost me to get a power pole extended out to my land? It's roughly 750 feet from the nearest power. What can you tell me about that? They could probably give you a better sense of price, etc. Additionally, we also have a link here to the New Mexico Office of the State Engineer. These are the people who deal with wells, residential or commercial. You're looking to get a permit for a well. Hey, I'm going to build a property. I need a well. I need to drill. These are the people you're going to want to talk to, and they can give you a better sense of what the water table is like out there. Or, you can just call a driller in the area. L. Brock is a popular, well-known driller in that area. If you call L. Brock and say, hey, I'm looking to buy some land down in, just south of Deming, what's the water table like out there? What should I anticipate the bill to be to install a well? How far down are you going to have to drill? What do you charge per foot of drilling? So on and so forth. They can answer those questions better. By the way, one of the quick things I just forgot to mention, this property sits very close to the Highway 11. If you guys aren't familiar with this, it's Highway 11, a.k.a. Columbus Road. This runs the length of the county, basically, from north to south. So if you're doing quick grocery or supply runs into nearby Deming, that is not going to be hard to do. You're going to have easy access to this thing where you could probably do about 60 miles an hour. And that's 11 miles north of you. So, you're going to be able to clear that one pretty quickly. Or, maybe you live up here, but you work down here by the border, something like that. You work down here in Columbus. This is probably about a 20-minute drive. Let's right-click and measure distance on this one. Yeah, something like that. It's about 20 miles, so maybe a 20-minute drive. Doing 60 miles an hour, maybe it's 15, something like that. But the point is the property sits very close, easily accessible to Highway 11 over here. So it's a nice arterial. It's going to be able to get you north-south and really all throughout the county pretty quickly. So it's another advantage of this property. Anyway, gang, with all that said, if you are interested in purchasing this piece of property, come up here, click the Buy Now button. It's going to take you to secure checkout, where we ask you for the $6,000 plus the $150 doc prep fee. Now, let me say this, guys. If you want to purchase this with a credit card, but you don't have a credit card that can do $6,000 at once, just give our offices a call, 702-919-7170. We will set it up for you so you can spread it out over multiple cards, 6 $1,000 payments, 12 $500 payments, whatever you want to do. Number one. Number two, if you want to close on this through title and escrow, again, give us a call. We'll give you a $500 checkout. You place a $500 deposit. We'll send you a contract, and we'll run this through Luna County Abstract. They are, to my knowledge, the only title company in Luna County. But they'll be able to get you title insurance on the property. Anyway, if you have questions about that, again, give us a call, and I can walk you through that process. But pretend for 2 seconds you've got a credit card that can accommodate $6,150. Enter the legal name for deed, enter some other information here, the tax address where the county is going to be sending the tax bill. Agree to our terms of service, click next, and on the next page we're going to ask you for credit, debit card information. Once you put down the money, as far as we are concerned, you are the owner of the property. Practically speaking, it's going to take a little while just to get the property into your name. Within 24 hours, we're going to shoot you an email with a copy of the new deed. Once you approve it, we're going to autograph it, notarize it, mail it off to the Luna County clerk's office to get it recorded. Once they record it, they're going to forward it on to you. So once they record it, you're officially the owner. And once they forward it on to you, give it about a week, week and a half, it'll be in your hands. You will have a hard copy of that deed so you can prove it to other people. Anyway, again, with all that said, guys, if you have questions, give us a call, 702-919-7170. Shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com, or just leave a comment here on the YouTube. Thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.